Okay, so yeah, I'm ready. We're okay with the lighting. You can see some kind of robes in the background here.
What are the robes?
Oh, I need to, it's for the Transcendence Orchestra.
Sick.
I think Dan ordered them from Uzbekistan. Anyway, that's another story. So, do you remember how we met? I sort of I have an idea about how it came about, but
We actually met through Doris.
uh-huh.
So it was so me and Doris initially met on Instagram because I follow your marital aid Rinse FM radio show. I found out about it several years ago, and ever since I found out about it, I've been following it religiously. And so one day I DM'd Doris, and I was like, I want to send a cat shout out to Omu, a cat at the home I was like at my parents' house. So, so I got in touch with Doris, and then we started like talking about cats. And then I also shared it like, and I just shared with her like a cat video and stuff. Anyway, like a few years later, I think a year later, I got this grant to go to the UK and to do the art residency at Museum of Life Sciences. So I got back in touch with Doris, and Doris invited me out for dinner with you two and also Dan.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, and that's how we met. And then I invited you guys to like my open studio later.
Yeah, I remember yeah, we used to do on the radio show, we used to people used to message us the cat's name and where they lived, and we would kind of say hello to the cats on air every month. We had like a huge list of cats from like all around the world. And it was just this fun like kind of funny inside joke kind of thing to share with the listeners. And I think that was like really fun. And yeah, I remember we met up. I can't remember why. I can't remember why we were in London. But I remember we met. Me and Doris and Dan was there as well. Met you for
Mm.
dinner, and then I think it was on another occasion that we went to the Museum of Sciences. Is that right? I think that was a different.
Yeah. It was a different trip, but I think all of you were in town for a show as well.
Hmm.
And it was for the next day. And then you guys came in an afternoon, I believe, and I made you guys tea and then just hung out in the museum and gave you a little tour.
Yeah, it was great. It was really great seeing all these, I guess, kind of how you describe them as skeletal sea creatures, and yeah, all these kind of I don't know, biological specimens, things like
Yeah. Mm,
that
mm,
you were sketching. Yeah, and I was really struck by your artwork, um how in I don't know, how individual and yeah, to me it was very individual and unique, and I really um and it really transmitted something. You know, I can't um you know, I don't usually try and put those things into words really. It's just, you know, if you see someone's art and it transmits something to you, that's what I look for in like music,
mm.
visual art, film, anything like that. If it kind of somehow uh touches me, then yeah, so and then you showed us around some I can't it was part of the Museum of Life Sciences, but it's not open to the public. So what was that place? That was really special.
Oh, was that the one connected to it?
Yeah,
So
the one
I
is like
think
strictly no photographs and it's not open to the public. What do you remember that?
yeah, I think I took you guys into the I think it's the what's the word? It's all human remains. What's the term? So sometimes when I move back to Taiwan, I just like I'm stuck between two languages. Um so yeah, I think I took you to the medical side of it,
Yeah.
and I think I showed you around with all the specimens. It's like got an atrium,
Hmm.
like full like several layers of like was
Crazy old
like
building.
there's like foot uh decapitated heads in formaldehyde, and there was a full mummy in the basement. I don't know if I show you that part too.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and then I was like, I think I kind of felt like I was sneaking you guys in because technically a lot of people have to like go through the front.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I was really excited for to show you guys that part of the museum is actually is one of my favorite parts of London, and not a lot of people could see that unless they're like medical professionals.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
felt really lucky to see that. It's really amazing to I don't know, I guess it's like a lot of parts of life which
Mm,
feel like they're kind of hidden away,
for sure.
like literally and sort of figuratively. So
Mm,
yeah,
mm, mm.
it was really so for me it was really interesting. At that point I didn't know that we were going to work together in this way. It was just like
Yeah.
it was just like uh fun to meet you and just see your art and being able to see where at least those parts of it came from was just really interesting. So yeah, that kind of it's just one of these things where oh that's it's like, oh, Jazz is a really interesting artist, and it's just sort of, it's there in my head. And then was doing the Shell Wave album for Tresor, and actually, it was actually at the point where um, Tresor had not, Tresor hadn't heard any of it at that point, and it wasn't
Mm,
actually finished. I remember. I was thinking about this the other day. I remember that you were one of the first people to ever hear any of it, and you heard it in an incomplete form. And I think you might have heard. I hadn't finished all the tracks, but when I first sent some examples to you, um,
mm, mm, mm.
I just thought it would be really interesting to work with you for the cover art because your style is so distinctive and different, and I felt like it would work perfectly for a techno album, but it would be coming from a very different angle and place with the style and the way that you work and stuff like
Mm,
that. And I think that for me that really fits with the way that I approach techno. I feel like I
mm.
come at it from a an odd angle, and I think that
Yeah.
your artwork does that too. So they fit together perfectly, I think.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice to hear. Yeah, I remember like when we had the first meeting and you did send me the files of your unfinished tracks.
Mm,
And I remember receiving those files and then thinking like, holy shit, if you're telling a 19-year-old me, like
mm,
finding out and learning about electronic music through Last FM, that one day like she'll work with surgeon, I would probably tell myself like that's never gonna happen. But so I mean for me, it was like it was pretty amazing. Deep down, I'm like low-key fangirling. Yeah, and actually how the artwork came about as well for the album cover. I remember at the museum and when I was showing you guys like the whole open studio thing, my really casual exhibition inside the museum.
yeah.
And I did catch you look at that piece quite a
Mm,
bit.
mm,
The initial version of the Shell Wave cover. And I remember thinking, it's like, really? Okay, interesting. But personally, when I looked at that piece, I felt like there's something really incomplete and
mm.
really rough about it. So
I
when you
remember you
showed
saying
me,
that. Yeah.
yeah, so when you showed me the album in progress, this is the piece that immediately came about to me.
Mm,
Because I remember you were looking at it for quite a while in the museum. And for me, it's like for a chance for this piece to come into its fully realized form.
oh, that's great.
And yeah, and I feel like because like the way I make art is quite traditional in the way I make them because it's like all 2D and also using ink, acrylic, and on these like Japanese drawing boards. But yet the subject is something completely different. So it's like you when you make music in a modular way, like you respect the craft, yet you're putting in your very own perspective.
Yeah, that really connects.
Mm,
That way, that really connects with the way that, particularly that I, that I like to make music, but particularly with this album because I felt like it was a combination of um, a very traditional way of music, and that is
mm,
the influence of Jamaican dub in terms of using the mixing desk, the mixer as an instrument, and working with the way that the delays and reverbs work. But at the same time, I was using really cutting edge
mm.
digital synthesis, those kind of machines. So it really was, yeah, it really fit in that way as well of combining very traditional, what I feel are very traditional production techniques with very, very modern aspects to it as well. Um, but I also remember Thomas and Felix at Tresor asked about at what point did the name of the album come about? And I almost couldn't remember, but when I think about it, I realized that when we first started, we made contact to, and we were talking about working together. I didn't, I'm pretty sure I didn't have any titles or um, for sure I didn't have the album title. And I think my recollection is that that really kind of came about in the process of working with you with the artwork.
Mm,
This idea of these um, repeating kind of bubbles and things like that in the yeah, and it's very obvious the the presence of shells in
mm.
those words.
Yeah, I feel like it all came about quite intuitively as well. And yeah, and I'm quite happy with how it all kind of blossomed through our collaboration. And it was really, really smooth as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
because usually, yeah, as an artist, usually when we give out like our many different drafts, we don't always get like a positive feedback in the first round.
mm,
So usually it takes several rounds for us to get a like maybe get an okay on one of the drafts. Like, okay, this is the direction that we need to go with. And but it's always a really nice surprise when we seem to like get it or we click in like the first round and we just find out what direction that we want to like start narrowing into.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's because on the one hand, I'm very particular about who I want to work with in a musical or
Mm,
visual way. But if I make the choice to work with someone, then it's like, okay, I don't want to micromanage what you do. I want to allow you to be as creative and free in your environment as you can be. And
mm,
I don't want to be like saying, oh, can you change this and that? Because it's not my art. It's your
mm.
art. So I just want it to you just to do your thing.
Yeah, that's really nice and respectful. And
Yeah.
is that what you've done with all the previous album covers as well?
I think, it always works in different ways, but it's this thing, back to what you were saying about, you were saying about your younger self couldn't imagine this collaboration happening. But when when I when I decided, okay, we're going to work together with this artwork, I see us on an equal level. We're just
Mm,
both
mm,
artists
mm.
doing our thing. I don't
Yeah,
put someone here and someone there. So,
yeah.
it's just it's just, we're collaborating in an artistic way to put something
Yeah.
It's putting
Mm-mm.
putting it's conjuring, it's putting something into the world, and I just want something that's effective and powerful.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah. So usually for my own practice, whenever I come up with a drawing or an artwork, I will always come with a art statement to explain the artwork itself. So actually, I remember how the original drawing came about, even though like the initial draft that you saw in the museum isn't my favorite. But I remember, so usually when I'm looking for inspirations, during our residency, I would always go to the museums. And one of my favorite museums to go to in London is always going to be the V&A Museum. And I remember walking into this part with a lot of Rococo frames and engravings, and they use a lot of seashells in their designs. And I remember taking loads of photos of those frames and thinking that, oh, I really want to use those seashells and the curves of each of the like frame details in my work. So the motif itself from the Shell Wave album is actually initially inspired by those Rococo frames. But I kind of wanted to give it a feeling that is also kind of deteriorating, like kind of like breaking away on its own. And I want the little holes in the middle to be just like windows itself. Yeah, so I wanted to let it like give the viewers a feeling that it's either breaking away, turning into little pieces, like ripping apart, or it's also engulfing itself. So I want to give that kind of idea. I've been exploring a lot of using like starfish and seashells and corals as a replacement of human skeletons to talk about memento mori. Because after moving back in Taiwan, exhibiting in a lot of galleries, I've noticed that a lot of the exhibition goers are actually a little bit afraid of skeletons because they're very superstitious. So unlike in the West or in other like Southeast Asian countries, the use of skeletons they're not that often seen in Taiwanese culture. So a lot of people are a little bit afraid of it. Like they think it's bad luck to have that in your house. So it's my way of um, putting a little bit of middle ground or a softer version of the mental mori. So in back around 2020 or 2021, I started painting with this Japanese drawing board. And this is originally used for calligraphy or Japanese or Chinese gel paintings. And people usually use these golden boards for painting like really traditional imagery like pigeons or flowers. I can actually show you an example of the board.
Oh yeah.
So the board itself actually looks like this.
Ah,
Yeah, it's like super shiny.
yeah, yeah.
And I remember a gallerist that I worked with, he showed me the board. He's like, Jazz, why don't you try this and do something with it? So I painted like a dance macabre. So like two skeletons dancing with each other.
Hmm.
And I used blue. And so that blue just stuck with me.
Yeah,
So
I remember. I think I've seen like a photograph of that work, the dancing skeletons. I think yeah, I'm fairly
uh,
sure that yeah, I saw some of your work on the with the blue and the gold, and that really yeah that color combination yeah really struck me. I don't know, it's just like. It's the same with just seeing your work. It's like if it kind of hits me or resonates somehow on like this unconscious level, I know, okay, yeah, that's it. And I don't rationally think that much about it.
yeah.
It's just like, oh, does that and yeah, also like you were saying earlier, it's just things come together in a very natural and intuitive way, and that's just how I really like to work. I don't
Yeah.
really map out grand plans of world domination. It's just like what's resonating with me, and I just go with that.
Mm.
So yeah, back to the go back to the talking about the gold Japanese drawing boards.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, the drawing board. Like so yeah, like I decided to do more so a while ago I started doing like some seashells dancing with each other on it. So that's like my way of doing like a softer version of Memento Mori.
Ah,
And so when I did the like other, well, not seashells, starfish, I started doing like starfish dancing with each other. So for this one, I thought it's quite fitting as well to use that to paint the Shellwave album cover. And I think one thing that is it's kind of a catchy contrasting color. And I think second, it's like an extension of the Dance Macabre a Memento Mori motif as well.
I think all of this like really ties in
Mm,
because I recorded all these tracks towards September, October 2024, something like that,
mm,
when I was kind of finishing working them. And I knew at that time that my dad was coming to the end of his life.
mm,
But I'd actually finished the album and had decided the titles and delivered it to Tresor before he died. He died in January this year, and I found it
I'm sorry.
really, for me, it was really, I don't know if the word spooky, or I don't know if spooky is the right word. Maybe it's not really the right word, but what struck me is that um, the way that it was almost like a premonition somehow, where all of the tracks, but two have like like Soulfire, uh,
Mm,
Empty Cloud. They all have two. Their names are all with two words, but the two tracks with one word are Dying and Fall. And my dad actually he fell over and his condition deteriorated, and he ended up dying. So to me, that felt like some type of pre-echo kind of premonition in the album, and the way that I named it, and just the whole
mm,
subject matter, and it ties in with the artwork as well. So I felt like that was I don't know, as they say, it's like the future leaking through into your art. So
mm.
it's quite yeah, that's why I say it's spooky in a
I
way.
see.
It kind of I don't necessarily believe in divining the future, or those kind of things, but uh that did strike me as being something kind of significant in that.
Yeah, there's always something, I would always say that in art creation, there's also always some otherly forces that's giving you all these information, that's giving you all these inspiration, but it could also be considered a part of your subconscious that
Yeah.
is seeping through
Yeah,
as well.
I see it as both. It is tapping into some kind of universal pool, but that's also the kind of
Mm,
what is inside us. So,
yeah,
that's when, for me, that's when I've I feel like I've created some art, when I'm able to connect with that and not just think about, oh, how many is this going to sell,
mm,
or is it going to
yeah,
be booked at festivals? But it's like it's great. What's really good with this project, working with Tresor, is that I feel so confident that I can just concentrate on the art
yeah,
side, and working with you, and I can
mm,
give it to them, and then they can just do the rest, you know, and that's really a great relationship.
mm, mm. Yeah, for sure. And I feel like when you're making art, if you let it with your, I mean, if you let it with your soul or something that's genuine, something interesting is always going to come out. Because if it's led with the thought of making money, it's going to be somehow soulless.
Mm.
That's one thing I believe in, unfortunately. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So, well, this is an excellent segue. Are there any other elements that you felt like were unexpected, while working on this album?
Well,
Because
I mean,
I know what the unexpected elements for me were.
I think the thing I was explaining just now
Yeah,
about my dad, that was something
very.
very unexpected and very, you know, deep and significant for me.
Mm,
Uh,
mm, mm.
um, yeah, I mean, I it's like these kind of projects, you know, once some momentum has been created, it just goes on its own. It's like it becomes this this living piece of art, and it
Yeah,
develops its own momentum, and very quickly I'm not really in control of it anymore, and it just, you know, the music flows out, the artwork comes together, and
mm,
just, you know, um if the right thing is set into motion, it's just gonna create itself almost
yeah.
in a
Mm,
weird way.
mm,
And it's
mm.
I always love that idea, that image of yeah, just how artists can just be a vessel for for a message to flow through, really. It's just, you know, almost the less you try to direct it, the better.
Exactly. And like actually when we're making the artworks and all the supplementing singles artworks were all completely intuitive as well for me. So I think when I was doing all the individual singles artworks, I did not think about like which one would be for which track.
Mm,
Not at all. So I just thought, oh, I'm gonna do some corals because these are all part of the ocean, and I'm gonna do some like skeletal, almost skeletal, um, seashells because they're fun to do.
yeah.
That's all I thought about. But then when I send it to you guys, and then you select and Tresor selected like the coral for Soulfire. I was just like, oh yeah, of course. It looks like flame. I
Yeah.
didn't even think about that. And but it didn't even occur to me until way later when I'm like it just shows up on my Spotify and I listen to it and the more I look at it, I was like, oh, it's a fire. Yeah. And actually when I sent all these like artworks to you guys, um and one of my favorite one was the one that you ended up using for your bonus track.
Mm.
And when that one wasn't selected initially, deep inside, I was a little bit sad because I was like, oh, I thought I did such a good job for that one. But it's okay, I guess. Um, we'll see. The other ones are also good. And when you approached me for your bonus track,
Mm.
with a really moving title, really to the point title, and then hearing the track itself, uh, like it's quite long, right? Like 8, 9 minutes.
Mhm.
And I remember like thinking, oh wow, it's quite a journey. There are a lot of details and it just keeps going, but there's like different parts of the segments of the tune.
Mhm.
And when you asked me like, oh, which artwork is suitable for it? And I immediately thought about that one.
Mm.
And because of the shape of the spiral seashell, I feel like it's almost like the progression and the journey of the tune itself.
Oh
And
wow.
the fact that it looks like a spine, uh, a fish skeleton
Yeah.
is also quite reminiscent of the memento mori idea, because in a lot of Flemish paintings, if you look at a lot of Flemish paintings, you see like um, like a candles that's been blown out, or finished dinners, like orange peel. And these all have its own meaning. And so if you see like unfinished, like a fish skeleton, it all means like, oh, everything comes to an end. It doesn't
Right.
matter how wonderful something is. There is always an ending. So for example, for all of us, death is inevitable, is an experience that we will all come across one way or another.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a really interesting coincidence as well.
Yeah. Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
There's like so much detail about, the artwork that you've done for this project that I didn't know about. So it's great. It's great to get all this. It's great to get all this new information.
Yeah, I'm glad you appreciate it too because that's all like stuff that I was like that I think about when I'm doing my work. But yeah, I'm not gonna like send it to you randomly like in a text because you're like, oh
Okay.
wow, geez. But yeah, I'm glad you find that interesting and not as like a rant. Yeah. So so as we're making our like our own arts, do you feel like there's any parallels in the way we work?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this conversation has made me realize that there are a lot of parallels in yeah, working in an intuitive way, tapping into the unconscious. Yeah, and it's just different ways of looking at death in a, to me it's not in a morbid kind of way, and it's not really, I don't know, I don't see it as in a kind of typically gothic sort of way either. It's
Mm,
like, yeah, to me that the idea of that phrase, whatever you do in life, always keep death by your side. It's the idea
yeah.
is to, if you keep death by your side, then it's not going to sneak up behind you so easily.
If
So
you think about it or feel mentally prepared about it at
yeah, I
some
don't
point.
think,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if anyone ever can be, but
Yeah.
it's just yeah, it just becomes more, the older I get, the closer it comes and affects more and more people in
Hmm.
my life.
Oh, wait, is it here? Yes. So
Uh-huh.
actually, should I just keep going?
Yeah.
So with the how the artwork is going to translate onto the vinyl itself is something that I was a little bit more apprehensive about because this kind of material itself, with the way it's painted, is already quite hard to capture on on camera.
Mm,
Because I actually had these pieces professionally documented with like an overhead scanner. So they're actually more than like 300 DPI. They're like 500 DPI. So because there's like this special sheen on it,
mm,
so I was a little bit worried on how it might translate into the vinyl cover, but luckily, with a lot of like, with a lot of the communications with Tresor and also Onlab, um, I'm really happy with how it came about. And as I handed the artwork over, they did also like tweak the colors a little bit, to make it a little bit punchier. And before they were also getting printed out, they did assure me that yeah, that is going to be metallic. And I'm super excited to see this because I really love the glittery metallic sheen. It looks so good, doesn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, and I love the text, the font choices that they picked as well. And the fact that all the letterings are like gold is insane. It's so fancy.
Fancy.
Yeah, it's so fancy. I just couldn't get over it. I remember like receiving it and then I was like showing my mom. I was like, "Mom, look." it's like glittery. And like and the font choices were so good. I remember during the email chains during our conversations, we were trying to figure out like what kind of font and designs we want on the track listing. And I thought Onlab did such a wonderful job on it because with uh with this and with the font choices, it could easily go into like very whimsy goth and campy kind of direction.
That's for another project.